on my end. Not there yet.
That's good.
So you just wait.
Take your time.
Just waiting for it to appear. 1 second. And you're more than welcome to share. It'll be on the Dani Perro Show page, Rita.
Okay.
Waiting for. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. So I found it. I'm going to share it. I am also going to send it to you on Messenger. We're going to do a 30-second countdown. So I'm going to come back, start the show, and we'll go from there, hon. Do you have any questions for me?
Okay. No. Mm-mm.
All right. Perfect.
Nope.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. Welcome to the Dani Perro Show here tonight. We are so excited to welcome one of our guests today. We have Miss Rita Pamplin. Now, we know you as well for being an author and also being a survivor of bladder cancer. So congratulations. That's amazing on your part. We're so excited to continue and listen to your journey as well during the show. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we're also going to talk about the beautiful Corinne that referred you to us as well. I think when she was previously on my show, we talked about her being a part of your of the film that you're in as well, that we're going to be mentioning on the show tonight. And with that being said, she also gave us you as a referral. So we want to say thank you to Corinne. We love her so much. She's such a sweetheart.
She's awesome.
She's very funny because I think her daughter was coming in a lot during the interview and she was like, stop it. I have an interview. Like, I have to pay attention, to what's going on and, things like that. And I was like, oh, it's okay.
Right.
It's all,
Yeah,
so.
She's got a cute daughter. She has a very cute daughter.
Yes, I met her on air. So
well, that's cool.
Thank you. So Rita, we are excited to have you here today. This is all about you. This is your time to shine. Okay. So this is where you're going to give us the opportunity to kind of get to know who you are, even before you were diagnosed, and how you feel like you overcame it before we get to more about your book and everything. So you take it away, hon. You let me know where you want to go first.
Well, I just want to introduce myself. And so I am a bladder cancer survivor. And I, in the midst of all, when I first got diagnosed in 2019, I had a pain on my side and I just kept thinking it was my ovary or, some GYN thing. And I went to the GYN and she said, there's nothing wrong with you, female wise. So, so then I got sent to, they thought I had diverticulitis, which I didn't have, apparently, because then, after they checked me for diverticulitis and she said, well, you don't have that, but you have a tumor in your bladder. And I was like, what? Because I went for x-rays and stuff. So
so everything was taken care of beforehand.
Yes. It was very shocking to hear that. Because I was only 52 at the time, and my dad was diagnosed with bladder cancer, but he was in his 80s and he had been a truck driver and a heavy smoker and all of that stuff. And so it didn't really correlate. It wasn't like it was hereditary.
Okay.
It wasn't hereditary. But one interesting fact that I kind of learned along the way of this journey, I was also born with spina bifida, which is where, there's like, they have to close a hole in your back. And some people, are worse than others. I was very lucky to be able to not be in a wheelchair, not have a shot in my head, all of those things that the spina bifida people go through. And I decided, like, in the midst of all this journey, and this is just recently that I decided to delve into that part, that because spina bifida has a lot to do with the bladder, because it controls your, like your brain and your bladder and all of those things. And there's a high probability that the reason why I got the cancer was because of the spina bifida, because apparently a lot of spina bifida people get bladder cancer. And I just recently kind of delved into that just to figure it out. They didn't know like if it was genetic for me or it was environmental. But I truly believe, because my bladder has always been an issue and a problem, and I've had many, many surgeries on my spine, my bladder, a lot going on. And I truly believe that that's where that all stemmed from. And, you know, and they said that I kind of had it for a while, but I didn't really know. But I didn't know, you know, because I guess it starts out small and you don't really know until you get pain. And then you're like,
tumors
oh, wait a minute, why do I keep having this pain? Yes. Yes. So apparently he said that my urologist, because he's the one that treated me first before, you know, he said that I probably had it for a long time and just didn't know, you know, until it got to that point where you had pain and you were like, uh-oh, you know, and stuff. Yes. Yeah. So
then having spina bifida, I just wanted to make sure. So you were born with it?
Yes. You were born with spina bifida. It is something that it's just that the spine doesn't fuse, and it's sort of open, and there's like a sac, and you know, it's like very and it just depends on where it is on the spine that affects the person, you know. And mine was on the lower end. The higher you go up, the more you have to have the shunt and the wheelchair and all that stuff. So, you know, I feel like that God, you know, kind of saved me even when I was born, you know, and he already knew
from all of those.
He already knew my purpose. And, you know, I didn't know. I was a child being sick all the time, you know, but yes. Yes.
Okay. So then going back from that to kind of where you were starting to be diagnosed at your doctor's office, when you got the news, kind of let me take you a little bit back in the doctor's office. What was going through your head? Like, were you nervous? Were you thinking, okay, this is something I can beat? Was this something that you were scared to tell your family? Like, what kind of were you trying to just
your
mind to relax?
So the day that, you know, they told me that, you know, they definitely thought it was, you know, they saw a tumor in the bladder, and they sent me to, and I remember that day so well. And that was my regular doctor's office. I remember going in my car, crying hysterically because I said to, because my daughter was graduating. This all happened in like the end of March, beginning of April. So it was April.
Okay.
My daughter was graduating in June, and I thought, but I can't die. I have to see her graduate. Like I have to see her graduate. And I think but I was hysterical in the car. I couldn't drive. I'm talking to my friend, you know, and anyone who is diagnosed with cancer, you know, goes through a lot of like trauma emotionally and physically and spiritually and everything. And I remember, so I was hysterical, and I thought, how do I tell my children? How do I tell my children? So I got enough, you know, put myself together, and it was like, you know, I have to go home. I have to drive home. But on the drive home, you know, because you kind of go into a mental space, you know, and I was driving down the road, and I said to myself, if I just slam into that pole over there, then no one has to know anything, and it's all over. No one has to go through it all.
Yeah. No, I got you listening. Yeah.
Yeah. And I literally contemplated suicide. And then I was like, and something like just struck me, and I guess it was God, and said, no. You got to see your daughter graduate. You got to go fight, you know. And I think at that moment was the beginning of me fighting for, you know, my life, pretty much. So, you know, and I you know, and I hate to talk about like that part of it that I contemplated like suicide, but it's a part of cancer. A lot of people don't want people to know. It's just a lot, and but I have to express that because it is a part of the journey.
I feel like
for a
it's
lot.
also, it feels like it limits your options, right? To yourself when you're in that type of
Yes.
depression state where it's like,
Mhm.
if I opt myself out of the situation, nobody needs to know what happened. Eventually, the doctor will tell my family,
Right.
but I won't be here to understand the situation of kind of what's happening. So yeah, depression is a huge part of, cancer patients. And you don't hear a lot of that also being said, depending on whatever, the patient has or what type of cancer that they have later down the line.
Yes.
Because it's something that they don't want to, you technically don't want to look into depression. Depression is something far out that you don't think you ever want to enter until you get the news you have cancer. And I feel like that is something that is hard for somebody to overcome. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's something where you're like, oh my God, crying to yourself doesn't feel like it can do that much, right?
No.
Like you're just crying.
No.
So it's it's out there no matter what, nothing's going to change.
Right. Right.
So you have to try to take the next step. So as God turned you around and pointed to you that you need to be here for your daughter's graduation, there's a way you can beat it. There's something you can do.
Right.
Shortly after that moment, you probably looked into some different things. I mean, you tell me exactly, what did you look to? How did you get your chance? Like, how did you beat it? I'm sure it took a long time.
Yes. Well, I got sent to a doctor's, a urologist who, went in there and looked and said, well, I don't really know, oh, it looks weird, but, and it looked, and honestly to me, and I will tell you this, it looked like an alien baby. This huge tumor looked like an alien baby. And that's what I said to him. It looks like an alien baby. Like, it just looks so disgusting and gross. And I was like really not wanting to watch it, but then I wanted to watch it at the same time. So, yeah. So, at that point, he said, okay, well, we have to do surgery. 2 weeks after, a week later, I was in surgery having the tumor, sort of cut out, and they, sent it to a lab. And that was a whole debacle because they kept saying, we don't know if it's cancer. We don't know if it's infection. We don't know if it's this. It took weeks. I mean, probably a month and a half before we literally, the doctor and I were like so frustrated that I said to him, you have to get it sent somewhere here in Maryland because we have really good doctors in Maryland. A lot of good hospitals in Maryland, guys. So because they couldn't figure it out. And here I am, probably with this other, and I did have 2 more tumors growing again in my bladder that, we hadn't found yet, but they were growing. So then I ended up, so we ended up taking it and saying, okay, send a sample to Johns Hopkins Hospital, which is a very good hospital, right? To the top urology oncology doctor. And in 2 days, I had a diagnosis that it was non-invasive. At that point, it was non-invasive. And they did they cut out the other tumors, and I did this stuff called BCG, which is kind of basically they take a like a tube and they put it up your bladder, and you're supposed to hold it and sort of swish around like a washing machine. And it's very toxic. So like I had to use the bathroom downstairs, from my kids, like I couldn't, like I had to wash my clothes separately, everything, from them. And, we did that for a good 6 weeks. I had a few.
Not to cut you off, but I'm curious as for the washing situation. What was that for exactly? Was that to
because like if I had because the stuff was very toxic. Yeah. And if you go to the bathroom and then I had to use bleach in the toilet, and then you put your underwear back on, you get dressed, that remnants of that is there, and I couldn't mix it with their clothes. So like I would just have my clothes laying on this other side of the floor in the laundry room, and I would just do it then. But and then we did that, and I had a couple of times where I was really sick and stuff because this BCG is kind of oh my gosh, I can't even say it. I can't even say it. Tuberculosis kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's supposed to fight this cancer. It's supposed to fight your immune system or boost it or something. I don't know the whole technology on it. But anyway, so that happened. And then, my doctor said, oh, I'm going to give you a break. Oh, anyway. And then I had a third surgery, which had 2 tumors. And those were, so then he said to me, I'm going to give you a break till January. And then you're going to come back and we're not going to see anything. We're not the whole time from
2020 now, right?
Yes,
January.
October to January. I knew there was, and that's what the 2 tumors came in. I knew that it was growing and I just felt it. I just knew it. And when he went in January, he says, oh, you ready to see nothing? And I went, sure. Okay. And there was 2 tumors. So then hence another surgery to remove the tumors. And they came back invasive. So yes. So they came back invasive.
Yeah.
It went that quick. It went that quick from non-invasive to invasive, like very fast. And then
within like a couple of month time frame.
Months. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I got a little break. And then I ended up, and then it was like this flurry of emotions. Well, first I was just kind of like, okay, I said to him, you mean I have to do the real chemo, the real chemo? And he goes, yeah, you have to do the real chemo. And I was like, oh, but I didn't like really cry at that moment. But then when I sat with the doctor and they were making appointments for the oncologist, and and the port put in and all these other tests and things I had to do. Like I literally lost it because I was like so overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed,
And you don't want to, make an appointment for this doctor, that doctor, this doctor, that doctor. It's like you're forced to. Mm-hmm. And that's your like last option. So of course then you would do depression after that.
Right. Yeah.
Really hard. It's like pushing you into a shelf.
Yes. And I'll tell you, and the start of the book was I had got the cancer. My daughter graduated and then it was going through all my stuff and I was home and I kind of like had, I was off of work a lot. So I was like, you know what? I was alone in the house and the kids were in school. And when you're alone, you think a lot. And, and I didn't feel good some days. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to write letters to my cancer, like off the top of my head, because I always wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
I had written some sort of mystery story like a few years before that. And then kind of was in some author groups that weren't so encouraging. So then I kind of gave that up and thought, I'll never be a writer, but I always wanted to be a writer. And then I ended up starting the book in the beginning of when I was doing the BCG treatments and having the surgery and I was home.
Okay.
I started writing it then because like the loneliness and everyone gone and you're just in this silent moment makes you think, and I really just wrote these journal entries, these letters really for myself at first. I was like, oh, I just need to, it's like journaling. Let me just write these letters, and then it sort of snowballed into obviously, and then I belonged to bladder cancer groups and I would, read them letters and I would do letters on Facebook and things. And I would, encourage them even in my darkest times. Like I'm a very people person and I will help anyone. So it's like, I literally, would be like, oh, how's everyone doing? Knowing that I was like feeling really bad or whatever, but I wanted to make someone else in the bladder cancer group that whether they had a relative or they had cancer themselves to feel better in that moment, even though I felt so bad. But it was like, and I feel like that has always been what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to, and I have said, before that, you know, you know, that I like, you would think that someone would never say this, but I was like, that I always said, thank you, cancer. Thank you, cancer, because it came into my time in my life when I kind of needed it. I mean, I guess I needed to rediscover who I was. And, and people say like, why do you thank cancer? Like cancer is such an awful thing. Why would you do that? And it's because it made me write these letters. It made me change as a person. It made me say, see life differently. And it really changed me. And then I, was writing these letters. And I had a friend, still, we're still talk today. And she said to me, you really ought to make that a book. And I was like, are you sure? Who's going to want to read letters, from someone with cancer? Who's going to want to read that? That's just so sad,
No,
because
but it's so encouraging, right? It's super
it is.
encouraging
Yes.
to a lot of people that had
Yes.
no idea that they could overcome so much, or they got further than the other person,
Yes. Yes. So originally I was like, oh, I'm going to, have other people write their letters in it.
Yeah.
But then I had contacted someone and they said it's kind of a lot of legalities with that, because like if you're selling the book and their stories are in it, then they're going to want money, and it's this whole thing. So I kind of just gave up on that idea, and I said, you know what? And I had people send me letters and send me messages and everything, and showing me and telling me, like how strong you are, that like, like you're encouraging us to write about our cancer, but you have cancer at the same point, And so then I ended up, so then I just, so then I thought to myself, okay, I'm just going to write this book. Because originally, it was just my story, and then I wanted to include people. And then I was like, okay, so I'm going to write this story, but I always proclaimed that the letters that I wrote were not just for me. They were for anybody who needed it, anybody who, anybody who wanted to read it, anybody that it could help. It was for them. I wrote it, and yes, it's my words, it's my, my journey, but it's for everyone, and it's not just for women, it's for men, children, the elderly. It's for anyone that's fighting any kind of cancer, not specifically just my cancer, So that's kind of where, I started writing the book like so early on. And then, and then came, I had chemo for a good, like off and on 3 months, because they have you do it and then they take you off of it and have you do it and all this stuff. So it was like 3 months. And then, they had told me kind of pretty much out the gate that, I would have to lose my bladder. Like there was really no options for me, because bladder cancer is very extremely aggressive, and my bladder cancer kept coming back and back and back. And if you let it go and you say, like, I'm just going to keep my bladder, you would die, because it will go, in your bladder, and then it will go out to like your stomach and your liver and all over the place. And yes, it's very fast. I mean, my tumors grow back like speed lightning. And, and I knew early on that was an option. And because of all my other medical conditions, there are several different ways you can kind of lose bladder and still be able to go to the bathroom and stuff, but I had to have a bag. There was no option for me. There was no option. Yes. And I was so like, and the doctor was like, but you're so young, and you're so pretty, and you're, I just feel so bad for you. And I said, you know what, as long as I'm living, don't feel bad for me, because, I'm living. And then I went through my major surgery in, the end of June, July of 2020 still. And
When you say major, is this another
but
tumor that had
this
come
was
up?
this was the bladder removal.
Okay.
And yes, so I so I lost my bladder, part of my intestine, and I lost all of my female parts, 15 lymph nodes and everything. Was told I was healthy. I wouldn't have any complications. I had every complication known to man. Literally almost died 3 times after the surgery.
Oh my God.
So yes,
Like,
yes.
wait, what do you
Yes.
mean exactly? Because you didn't have the body parts? Like something was like
No. My blood pressure kept crashing. My heart was all erratic. I was anemic. I had sepsis right out of surgery. I was septic right out of surgery. So all those factors, like can kill you. But I was so close, like so many, like 3, like between the
like
septic.
God kept testing you to be like,
right. Like, yeah, I'm going to make your blood pressure, or I'm going to have you have sepsis over here, or you're really anemic and we might have to give you a blood transfusion, or and I was very delusional after the surgery, because like the septic was just making me, it was, because that's a blood infection and it can kill you. So there was such close calls. But you know what? God just got me through it and was like, no. And I thought to myself, just like I told like my doctors, when we were fighting for my surgery and it was COVID time and that took a while, and I advocated for myself, and everyone should advocate for themselves in whatever situation you're in. Always advocate for yourself. Don't back down. And they say, well, my hands are tied. It's COVID. No. Don't ever do that. And I advocated for a 4th chemo. That was really hard on me. But I said to the doctor, all this I've been through, all these surgeries, all these procedures, and here we are going to have surgery soon. I'm not dying. So you need to give me this 4th chemo, whether it kills me or not. I have to have this 4th chemo, because I am not having these tumors grow back, and I am not dying. You understand?
Well, the other thing I would say too, Rita, not to cut you off, but like when you're going through all of this, right? Wouldn't you want to say to yourself, when does it stop? Enough is enough.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I mean, is there like a finish line where it was like like you're.
It was very exhausting. I will tell you, very mentally, spiritually, emotionally draining, like so exhausting. Like it was just like, can we please? I kept begging, like, can we just have this surgery? I just want it done. I just want it over. Want it over, And I advocated for myself. I got the 4th chemo, and then in the end of June, beginning of July, they did the whole big surgery at the hospital. I was supposed to be in there for 5 days, was in there for 10 because of all the complications I had, but I told the doctor, and I told my urologist and my oncologist and the doctor who was doing the surgery, I said, I will not die. I am not dying. I've gone too far. I said, I'm writing this book. I was already talking about the book back then.
That's good. You were high strung about it, and everything you were dealing with, you probably officially wanted to write more letters to your,
Yes. And, and I ended up, having the surgery, and like I said, it was touch and go with me for the whole time. And then I was okay. And then it was rough when I got home, but I prayed like every day in the hospital. I said, God, like before I went to the surgery, I prayed. Then I prayed every single day, please save me. Please take all these things away from me, because I have things to do. Yeah. I have things to do right now. You know what I mean? Like I have a book to write. I've got things to do. I still have children, that were, my son had already graduated. My daughter graduated. And then I have my youngest one, Yeah. And I was just like,
you want to be there for your kids.
Yeah.
It's emotionally draining. Yeah. You don't know when it's going to stop. And, you want to stop.
Right. And it's such a difference between like when I contemplated suicide to wanting to fight. and, and I knew I had to fight, and I knew it was a purpose. And, I just knew that there was no giving up for me. I wasn't going to throw the towel in and say, okay, you've won, and a lot of the letters in my book have a lot of metaphors to a lot of things, which is really cool, which is, because I'm very like metaphoric, and I just wanted to kind of, have things related to what I'm talking about, but in a form that someone could understand, and stuff. Yeah. So, so that was kind of, and, obviously through this, and even with the chemo, I literally would take my notebook to chemo. Now, guys, I would fall asleep from the steroids. I didn't feel good. I hardly ate. But I would jot down my little thoughts, even chemo. But in the hospital, I didn't write anything because obviously I was too sick. But when I got home, it was on. So, and I had help actually getting the book made. I found someone that, would edit it for me. I found someone that formatted it for me, and I got it done so cheap because people were so compassionate. Like,
they wanted to be there for
my book out, and then I had someone do the cover. I think I paid, such a low cost, right? I think it was probably $35 for everything that I paid for it. Like, nobody really charged me high prices because they were like, this is a good story, and this is letters, and we, we're not going to, so I really got the book done for cheap, and then I always wanted to make it into, something more than just a book. I just really wanted to do that. I was
when you finished the book, Rita, doing chemo for the 4th time, was that when you were starting to publish the book?
No,
or was
I published the book in May of 2020.
Okay.
Which was before I even went for my major surgery. Why I wanted to do that? Because I thought, if anything happens in that surgery, my kids have a legacy. And that was my thing. I have to get it out by May. I was like adamant. You guys have to help me. I got to get it out by May, because I'm going for this surgery, hopefully in June. And then it was like the end of June, July. But I need to leave that for them. And that's what that's why I put it out in May 2020. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And then after that, I went through a lot of other stuff, and then I got better. And then I ended up, wanting to make the book something better than it was, and I, and I contacted some people, and they were like, it was COVID, and they didn't want to do anything with the book. And then they were like, well, we could come there and we could walk around and you could just read your letters. But like, that really wasn't what I wanted to do for the book. And this has been an exception for a long time, So, then, hence now, so I kind of just, I sold, a decent amount of the books in the beginning, did some book signings, things like that. And then I ended up, so then I ended up, and then I thought, well, what do I do with the book now? And then, I just kind of let it go. I thought, it's not going to sell any more books. Nobody wants to hear about that, nobody. Right. So hence 2023, Jackie and Johnny Havorka, started a publishing company, and I kept looking at the page and looking at the page and looking at the page. And I'm going, oh, should I not? Should I not? Like I was so like, would they want to do it? Would they not want to do it? You know what I'm saying? So then, I texted, Jackie, and I had said, hey, do you all do books that are already published? And they were like, sure. What's it about? And I told her, and then I sent it to her, and then everyone on their board loved it. And, I thought
about what you were doing, about how the book's being published. Yes.
Right. And then I thought to myself, like, well, what are they going to do with the book? It's just letters to my cancer. Like, what are they really going to do? Like, how can they really make a movie out of that? Like, I was so like, because I don't know anything about this knowledge, right?
Of course.
No. So I ended up submitting it. you know, and then not too shortly later, they said they definitely wanted to do it. Which I was like, wow, okay, my dream's actually coming true, So, we were all talking and stuff, and then Jackie had, kind of like ideas about the screenplay and different things and stuff. And what she had in mind, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's great. All this stuff. So she wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
Amazing woman, with amazing talent. She wrote the screenplay, and
so the screenplay is basically about your book, Letters to Cancer. Now, is it like?
Well, it's got a whole. It's kind of got a Steel Magnolias feel, if you get what I'm saying. It's got, my letters are weaved into the screenplay, the story,
Yes.
in such a beautiful way. It's like the movie's about like faith, family, connections, secrets. It's got like the whole gambit of things in it. It is Christian based, because in my book there was a few little, cuss words, because
hey, you were going through a lot. I'm sure.
I know.
You shouldn't get penalized for that.
I know. But to make it like, so that we could make it a wider, range for people to want to give me awards and do the movie or whatever, we did take them out, or, kind of rearrange them, which is fine, because I wanted it to be Christian, because I will tell you honestly, like, before my cancer and everything else happened, I really wasn't, let's say, I really wasn't religious or spiritual, because I just wasn't. I had just lost that, because I had lost my parents, and, they both died, and I was in a lot of depression and a lot of stuff. And that kind of kicked me back into being very spiritual and stuff.
Okay.
So having it being Christian based, is what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Christian based. And, and I, and so, so she wrote the screenplay, and it's beautiful and it's awesome. And Corinne with her voice. Oh my God. Yes. With her voice.
And who is there actors and stuff that are part of the show, and who is it still in the works? Does anyone have the roles yet? Who plays you?
Well, there's a lady named Ginger who plays me. And we, so anyway, so yes, so I am the extra, so I can't even talk today. Anyway, yes, so she wrote the screenplay, and and she's directing the movie, and her husband's producing the movie, and I'm the executive producer on the movie. And we have a beautiful cast of a lot of different, people, but amazing. We just had a table read the other day, and I was, privy to that, and I ended up having to go to work a little bit, but it was amazing. It was amazing. Like the cast is going to blow people away. The story is going to blow you away, because the story that she created was so much more than I ever imagined, that this story would be. And it's amazing. And, the short film is obviously a short film, so it doesn't have all my letters in it, because obviously it's a short film, but it has some letters in it. And when I heard the one lady named Ginger that is singing, that speaking it, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I had to tear up, because I was like, wow, someone is reading my letters in a movie. You know what I'm saying? That's so, like, I can't explain it. It's just like I had chills, and then the song that Corinne, your wonderful friend, did for me. I mean, because again, Jackie wrote the lyrics, and Corinne is singing the song. Beautiful, beautiful voice that woman has. And I cried listening to that song, you know, and it's just beautiful, you know, and I can't wait for like the world to really see this movie and see, you know, the hard work that everyone has put into it. You know, and the cast is just amazing. And I've like friend requested everyone in the cast because I am a talker, as you can see, and I am very friendly, and I love to talk to people. So I'm like, oh, let me friend request this person because they're now on my, you know, the cast and everything. Amazing. I mean, it's going to be such an amazing, moving, inspirational movie. It's just going to be like so awesome, you know. So, you know, so I have to say that, you know, I thank cancer because here I am today. I'm a survivor, helping people, you know, and fulfilling this dream that I had forever that I thought was lost, you know, because you feel like, you know, when your book sells and then your book doesn't sell, and then you think, oh, but no one wants to really read that. And I did some book signings and I would sell like a couple of books here and there.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like, just, you know, it was, and then, you know, and then when, and I, you know, hadn't read it in a long time. And then when all of this was happening, you know, I reread my letters and I thought, wow, girl, wow, you were really something back then, you know, that, you know, cause like it was so long ago, but I thought, wow.
Because it's what you were going through.
Right. I wrote, and I thought to myself, I wrote these letters. I wrote these letters. Like I did that, you know, but honestly, I feel that it's all a God thing. It's all a God thing that, you know, that I wrote it, went through what I went through, experience what experience, help people. I feel like it's a God thing, you know, that like I'm on this show, you know, sharing my experience. It's a God thing that I met Jackie and Johnny.
Yeah.
And all the cast members who wanted to be in the movie, like, God bless them, because, you know, Ginger has a hard role reading those letters because it's very emotional, you know. And, you know,
you were a part of the cast and crew, right? Like you helped with the hiring.
No, they did all that stuff. I just, you know, I was just me.
Just behind the scenes.
Look, if they know, because I have no idea about this stuff. So if they know what they're doing, let them do it, you know. But I mean, the cast is amazing. Like, and it's a mix of so many different people, you know, people from the South, people from Ohio, you know, and I'm not sure where else, but anyway, yes. Oh, and then Jasper, Texas, because that's where the movie's going to be. That's where the movie's being filmed, is Jasper, Texas.
Okay. Why Jasper?
It's just a place they found. There's a lake, and it's just a really beautiful scenery.
Perfectly for the movie.
Yes. Because it has a lot to do with a lot of mysteries, and I'm going to leave that for everyone's, you know, like, ooh, well, what is that about? You're not going to know now. But there's a lot of mysteries. Yeah, cliffhanger. There's a lot of mysteries in the waters on the lake. That's all I'm going to say.
You're writing another story as we speak, Rita?
No, but I am going to do, and so my other little projects that I want to do, because, you know, like now I've got this like spark to do other stuff. I want to gather women together and probably include men, because, you know, cancer is cancer. So I don't really want to exclude men. Correct. And I want to do like a documentary of fate, like called Faces of Cancer, and have people like talk about their story in like a documentary. So that's another filming project that I'd like to do, because I really have gotten,
that's very deep.
Because the weird thing is that I've gotten bitten by the film bug. Okay. That bit me already. So I want that.
Like you're just starting to see different things come and go, where you're like, I want to do that, and then I need to do that, but of course I have to do that, you know, like,
right. Yes.
It's coming in the picture for you.
So I want to do that. I would like to do, you know, definitely public speaking on things, and
you should look into doing motivational too, about your, you know, what you've been going through and how people can overcome it too.
Yeah. And then a lot of the and the screenplay and everything has won awards already, which is amazing. So, and then on the last, so it's just been, we've gotten some awards on it already, and I can't wait for the film to actually be put into a film festival, because I have a feeling that it's going to win awards. And I just and like I had talked to Jackie, and Johnny knows too, like I want to take this movie all the way. Like, I don't want to just be like, okay, we're doing this short film. Okay, bye guys. We're done. We're not doing anything else with the story. And then what do we do with the the full feature screenplay that she did for me? What do we do with that? And I'm like, no. So we're going to go all the way. And, and like I said just the other day when I was doing something, I said, when I was talking to the cast, I said, I'm not cocky, but I'm just telling you that this movie is going to be big and it's going to go places.
You're manifesting. You're being positive. There's nothing cockiness about that.
Oh yeah. No. But people think, like I don't want people to think that I'm like this person that's, like she thinks this and that, whatever, because I'm not like that, but I just want, but I just see the movie going to feature film. I really do. And I see it winning many awards in film festivals for the movie part of it also, besides the screenplay. I definitely feel that, and it's like a vibe or a feeling that I have, and I feel that is where the movie's going to go. And then I also, so besides the documentary I want to do about the basis of cancer, I also am going to be writing a autobiography that's going to kind of be like from the beginning of my life, to where I am now in my journey. And I kind of want to call it Layers of My Life. That's kind of what I want to call it. Because
you're coming up with everything left and right. Yeah.
Because
don't overwhelm yourself now. Just do everything.
No, I'm not. No. I mean, I'm not even worried about the autobiography till later. But but it's just like the layers, like you take layers, you peel off layers of like things. And I kind of referenced it, like, I know this is a little crazy, but I kind of referenced it to like an onion, how you peel the onion and then there's layers and layers and you get to that little thing in the middle, right?
Yep.
Little last thing in the middle, and you've gotten to the core of the onion, but it's like you got to the core of yourself. So I'm sort of shedding my layers to show like where I'm at right now, because even like now with the movie and everything and all that going on, I'm so different than I even was a year ago. I'm still my goofy, silly, helpful self and all that stuff, because I like to cry. I'm a very much crier and I like to laugh and everything too. But I feel like it's made me like know that you can do this and you can do other things. You don't have to just stop at this short film, because we know we're going to take it to the big film. We know we're going to get awards. We know all this stuff's going to happen. We know this, and your life is going to change, and it's going to be so different than what you're in right now. Like, I feel like it's just going to be like this shift, and I feel like I'm going to meet, like I met you all. You guys got me on a show, like you and listening to me talk. And I feel like it's just going to
go whirlwind. It can go further than that. Yes.
Right. And I feel like I'm going to meet people that maybe I never thought I would meet, or, or just, I feel like my life is going to go in a whole nother direction. Like, so that's, but that's good for me, because like, I want more growth. I want to be able to do more things, and I have more confidence even now than I did a year ago. Like, I was very confident, like possibly a year ago, but now I'm like, oh no, it's on and we're not stopping.
Extremely confident.
Yeah. And Jackie and Johnny know that, because I always tell them all the time, we're going all the way with this. We're going all the way. And I told the cast the other day, I said, well, y'all better buckle up and get on the ride, because we're going all the way, So,
say, Rita, just so you know, and everybody that's tuning in as well, but so you know this for sure, God does not give awful things to people that that cannot handle it. God gives
Yeah.
things to people that can handle it. And you, Rita,
Yes.
have proven and shown to the world that you are an incredibly strong woman that can handle anything that life throws at you, even when you least expect it.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Definitely. Yes. Yes.
So,
And I wanted to tell everyone out there that, whatever situation you're going through, whether it's a medical, physical, spiritual, thing, don't ever give up. Just keep fighting, fighting, fighting. Don't ever give up, because, just like me, I mean, here we are, and, my dream is coming true, all on the help of other people, obviously.
Yes.
And I will say one thing though, years ago, when I first started this journey of trying to figure out how to make a documentary or something about my movie, like I've always said, is that it was never those people, and that time was not the time. And the reason why things didn't happen, and people were like, well, we want to help you, but we can only do it on YouTube. We can only do this. We can only do that. Pay us $1,000 and we'll just do all this stuff. I think the reason that was blocked, and not because of COVID. Yes, Jackie, very true, hun. All God. Is that she just put a note up there. Anyway, is
yeah,
because,
no, you're good. I got you. That's your comments.
yeah. And because she, and because it wasn't the right people at the right time. It just wasn't, because it would have never been what it is right now if I had done it 3 years ago. It would have been some like, oh yeah, I'm walking on the Inner Harbor in Baltimore, reading my book, and people are like, okay, she read her book, and okay, there's a little YouTube video, you know what I mean, a YouTube movie or something, and that's all it would have been, and it wouldn't have come to this point at the moment, So I feel like it wasn't time then. It wasn't time, and I had just got out of major surgery, and I was I got the book done, and I was trying to promote it, and and still talk to people on the bladder cancer pages and do all these things. So I was still working what God wanted me to do, but he was just like, but this isn't the time, and this isn't the thing, because you need to heal from this major surgery that you just had. You need to take time for yourself to heal, and I was out of work for like 9 months. I mean, I had coverage, but then it starts to go down, and then barely get any money. But I literally was like, I was just like, then I realized now that I'm with the right people, the right time, the right cast. Like I'm like, it's all the right time, and it was supposed to be now. And I even had a friend of mine tell me, like in 23, when all this started, and me and Jackie and Johnny communicated, and we were getting everything started, right? Oh, thank you guys.
We're getting J&J Ranch Productions, not to cut you off, but Jackie, I think this might be Jackie as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jackie, Johnny. Proud of you for promoting
We're getting everybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So what happened is, and then I feel like, and my friend said to me, do you know that 2024 is going to be your year? And I went, and this was even before I met them, okay, and started this whole journey. And I went, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? 2024 is going to be my year. It's just another year. I'm just going to be a year older. It's not a big deal, right? But her prediction came true. And she said, and then when all this came out, and she's my really, really good best friend, and she lives in California. She's moving to Florida though. And she said to me, remember what I told you. Remember what I told you. And look at you now. So yeah. And anybody, and I want to tell anybody out there, anyone out there, like you're doing your show, right? You're doing what you want to do. Anybody out there that wants to do what they want to do, take that chance. Take that chance, if you want to write a book, if you want to be an actress, if you want to be a model, whatever you want to do, you want to go back to school, and you're like, 55, and you want to be a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Like, do whatever you want to do. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it, because in my book, I did in the book, there's one little like line in the book where I wrote something about I can't, like the little train that says they can't, get up the hill and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's that in there where it says I can't, that no. So I'm the little train that could. So, but yes, but I just want to inspire everyone to please live your dream, because life is too short. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Thank God I'm still here. And I, and
have so much
yeah,
to explain and share and show with the world.
Yeah. Yes. And, and I'm just telling you guys this story, you guys are going to love it. It's just going to be amazing. Obviously I'm not giving much away because, y'all got to see the movie, but all I'm going to say is bring tissues. Just bring lots of tissues.
And Rita, is there a way that people can find your book, Dear Cancer? Is it like sold on Amazon? Is it like
Yes.
out as well? Where can people purchase it?
Yes. My book is on Amazon.com. Just look up Dear Cancer, Rita Pamplin. Because I can't get to the link right now, whatever. But yes. And yes. And I also, and just on a side note, besides Dear Cancer, I did write 2 other books. I wrote a book called Mended Body, Broken Soul, which is not anything to do with the devil, people, okay? It's not. The reason why, because people say, oh my God, is that? No, it has nothing to do with that, a broken soul being, no. That book was the second part of my journey where like I had from my major surgery beyond. That's my second book. And then I also wrote a book dedicated to my mama, who, always encouraged me to do everything. Anyway, and so it's called Flying Free, which when I was going through my cancer, I would see a cardinal out in, like out, I would see it, right? And I was like, oh, and I would just see this cardinal, and it would always come. And it would always come. And I was like, hi, mommy, because when she died, when she was, she was Catholic, but she also believed in reincarnation, which was a little opposite of Catholic religion. But she said that she wanted to come back as a bird. She wanted to be a cardinal. And this cardinal would constantly come to the window, to the door, to the deck, whatever. So I talked to her and I was like, you know what? I have to write a book dedicated to my mother. So in the book, it's kind of about like me letting her go.
Okay.
Even though like she carried me this whole journey with the cancer, because my whole life, every surgery, every doctor's appointment, everything I ever had wrong with me from spina bifida all the way up, she was there. She was there the entire time, always staying at the hospital with me. And, and I felt like I owed it to her. And then she was there for me, my cancer in a spiritual way, but she was there. And so then she was there, and I wrote, and I wrote to her, like about, like her, like letting her go, saying, Mama, you can go, Mama, because I'm okay now. And you need to go fly off and be the angel that you need to be and help other people,
Beautiful.
Yeah, because she was a very wonderful woman, very helpful, very whatever. But, back in her day, men dominated the world. And, and she was very oppressed, and, and I just feel like so sad finding out certain things, like, oh my gosh, but that book is really was about her, but it's also for anyone who is in grief and they're trying to let go of their loved one, and they're trying to tell their loved one they're okay, they can go now. And also in Mended Body, Broken Soul, and in Dear, and in Flying Free, I wrote poetry in those books. So there is poetry related to those specific topics and stuff. And I wrote letters to my mother in Flying Free also. So those are all on Amazon. And you can look up my author page on Amazon. It's author Rita Pamplin. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I do YouTube, but I only use YouTube too much. I'm also on Twitter, and Yeah, and I have my regular Facebook page. I have my author Facebook page, and then I have a sisterhood group that I started because I wanted to read it so much. Okay. Anyway,
Thank you, Jackie. Continue. It's all right. Continue.
I didn't know what she was. I didn't know. She said, Rita talks so much about you. Oh, Corinne. Okay. Yes. Anyway, I don't know what's happening there.
That, Rita,
I'm trying to listen to you and I'm trying to do 15 things. Yes.
No, that's
but
okay.
Anyway, yes. So, so what were we talking about? I don't even know. I got lost now.
Your books, the rest of your books, all your social media, where people
yes,
can find
yes,
you.
yes. So I am on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Obviously now I'm going to be on YouTube, and then I have a Facebook page, regular Facebook page. I have an author page. You can friend request me. I don't care. If you want to do my Rita Pamplin page, it's fine. I do have a sisterhood page, which I created for books that I was going to write and then kind of got on this journey. So anyway, but it's okay though, because I have very, very good people behind me. And, I'm just grateful that you wanted to interview me. And I hope that you learned a lot about me, about my journey.
Yes, I did.
Sisterhood Force, yes.
Everything that you're doing is amazing. I wanted to ask you, wanted to ask you off air too as well, but for anyone that was tuning in, we want to hear more about when this book, when the movie screenplay does come out. Jackie, keep us updated as well. Jackie, we might want you to reach out to Chris so we can get more about the screenplay of this too, so we can follow more journey into Dear Cancer. Just because we had Corinne, who's one of the singers in the movie, her song. She's singing the song that Jackie wrote. And then, we had you, who's the executive producer. We need to have the director. So John and Jackie, I see you guys evolved in part of this. So see if you want to reach out to Chris after the show, or if Rita can pass your information along. We'd love to have you on the show too, even with Rita. And we can have a whole, the whole cast.
Have a whole party.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to be a part of it.
Have a whole party, Jackie.
I would love to be a part of it and help any way that I can.
Yeah.
Whether it's promotion or purposes. If you guys come close to New Jersey, reach out to me. New York, New Jersey. We're in Jersey. We would like to come see it too if it's at a film festival. So keep us updated. Keep us in the loop.
Oh, yes.
We desperately would like to know more information about this. We'd love to be, we're all on the bottom of our seats, right? We're ready. We can't wait to see what's going to happen next. So we're excited.
I'm excited, and I want to watch it so bad. And I also, Kelly Keller is singing in the movie too. Just by the way,
okay. Well, I don't know who Kelly Keller is, but I'm sure she has a beautiful voice as well.
She's wonderful. She's a very multi-talented girl, that's for sure. But yes, so I just want to thank you for having me on the show. It's been really fun, and thank you. Everyone loves Rita, but I literally can't wait to be sitting there, or even at a film festival, or we might, we might even, we were talking about doing like a premiere where you would go and you would see the movie first, and everything.
I would love to go. Can you do Eastern Standard Time, please?
Yes, because I'm in Maryland, so we're good. And I'm from New York anyway.
We'll travel to Maryland if we have to. That's fine.
I'm from New York, by the way. So
okay, I'm in New Jersey. Yeah. We're in New Jersey. I just wanted to make sure everybody looks at this comment here. But if anyone is interested also being on the Dani Perro Show, please message Christopher. His email is below. Make sure you always check out our show for amazing guests. We do have a great lineup coming up currently. Yes. We are booked as well up to April. So we're currently just getting mid-spring and summer involved. So please let us know if you'd like to join and be a part of it. We'd love to have you. Yeah, I definitely want to say, Rita, I appreciate you more than anything for being here, giving me your story, giving me your passion, and having me, a random stranger on a radio show, getting to know you. As you can tell, you're
right?
You told me everything about your life, So that's a hard thing to do, especially being a cancer survivor. So good job. You have great personality skills.
Yeah, Jackie, and I'm telling you, Jackie and Johnny know me well. And they know that I talk a lot. I tell everything. It's all good. But and I want to, but we will definitely keep you updated, because I would love for everyone to to know about the movie when it comes out. And I'm sure there's going to be little clips in here if they're of different
Teasers,
things.
of course. Well,
in
if
the
you look at what
casting.
John
And
just posted below before we get ready to end the show, he said we will try to get all the cast together for an interview. That sounds like an amazing
yay,
concept.
Johnny, yay.
Well, keep me
Yes,
updated.
and,
Please do not reach out to Chris. We would love to have them. Yes.
Yes, that's so awesome. And you guys got to come. You guys got to come.
Yeah, well, we
Yeah.
definitely will. No
Yeah.
worries. No hesitation.
Yes.
I'm going to get ready.
Yes.
I appreciate you being so much a part of this and being a part of the show. And we can't wait to talk to you about everything. Stay tuned on
next time I'm on the show, we might be talking about the movie.
Exactly. So stay tuned on the J&J Ranch page for Jackie and John as well with Rita. We'll find out more information about maybe the cast and more teasers. Anything you guys post, you're more than welcome to also tag the Dani Perro Show, as we want to be a part of this as best for promotion. So reach out to us. We have no problem with that. Same with Corinne, Jackie, and John. Rita, thank you again so much for being here. I loved having you. I can't wait to talk to you more. Before we end the show, do not leave. I have to ask you a question, but just stay on. And thank you all so much for tuning in. And make sure you tune into the Dani Perro Show every Tuesday night from 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Have a great night, everyone.
Right. Hi, everyone. And want to thank you for everyone that watched tonight. Thank you. God bless.